Hey everyone, I'm back, and today I'm going to be talking about my least favorite movies of 2018, and this is going to be a top 10 list, not a top 5, because I saw some pretty terrible movies, and I'm skipping honorable mentions because I don't really feel like going through those. I've suffered through enough pain through these terrible films, and already I don't need to remind myself of what other films I've seen this past year. So to help me get through this and help me think of something that's good, I'm just going to wear this throughout the video. It might not get rid of the pain, but it at least makes me think of a movie that I at least love. This is the only good movie I can keep on my mind while talking about these movies. Now that the intro is over, let's get into number 10. Winchester. This movie was boring. I have almost nothing to say about it. The acting is really awful. The scares... What scares? I don't remember anything about this movie. I'm not really interested in what it's being based off of. Not because the movie is terrible, but I'm just not interested, really. Maybe it was the movie. I honestly don't know. But let's get into number 9. The Predator. Probably the most disappointing blockbuster of the year. Next to maybe a couple others. Does anyone even... How many people can name a handful of good things about this movie? I can think of maybe a few, but aside from that, this movie was a huge letdown, and I'm kind of shocked that Shane Black directed this movie, and I believe that he could have made a great movie, and I don't know what happened here. Maybe some studio interference or whatever, but as far as I know, this was a complete disaster. I mean, this guy made Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is pretty great, along with The Nice Guys, and he starred in Predator, and he even wrote he was the writer for Lethal Weapon, the original, not the TV series. I haven't seen the TV series. But what happened here, I have no clue, so... Oh well. Let's just leave it in the garbage and let it burn. Number 8, we have The Happy Time Murderers. This movie made me laugh like 4 times, and that's all the compliments I'm giving it. Okay, the puppet stuff is great, like from a technical standpoint, but that's all this movie gets right. Melissa McCarthy does not work in this movie. Actually, I take that back. No one works in this movie. Every performance in this movie is not good. I have nothing to say about it. So let's move on to number 7. The Cloverfield Paradox. I love the first 2 Cloverfield movies, even though they're not really connected, beyond a couple minor things. Aside from that, there's no connection to these movies whatsoever. And the Cloverfield Paradox, supposedly it was supposed to tie everything together, but it did not. It just wound up being a disaster. This was actually the first movie I saw that was on Netflix. And probably will be the last. Moving on to number 6 is The Meg. A lot of people enjoy it. Good for you. We all have our guilty pleasures, if that's the case. But I just couldn't get into this movie. It was too awkward, unfunny. The CGI is unbelievably bad. I've seen worse in a movie that I will review in my next video. But this was just really bad. The most expensive shark movie ever made. And what does it turn out? A disaster. And that's not a compliment at all. Coming in at number 5 is probably the most hilarious movie I saw all year, and that's Robin Hood. I have nothing to say about this movie. Next. Number 4 is 50 Shades Freed. Guilty pleasure, I guess, but don't watch it. Coming in at number 3, that was fast. I got to briefly skip over 5 and 4 because at least they're entertainingly bad. Unlike these next 3. And I kept swapping around which movie was worse. You can argue whichever movie, in your opinion, is worse. I don't mind. I will probably switch around which movie is worse out of these 3 at some other point in my life. Not that it really matters. Point is, I hate these movies. And my number 3 pick is The Slender Man. Now, I personally like Slender Man as a concept thing, creature, or whatever. I like his design. I think he looks really cool. I still haven't seen the documentary surrounding the Slender Man and the whole incident that happened that I think this movie's being based off of. Loosely-ish. If there's one thing this movie lacks, I would say it's logic. Characters are so stupid. A lot of people might say this movie's boring. I would say about 30% of this movie is boring. 70% of this movie is enraging. I constantly found myself really angry at the screenwriting for this movie. I don't even know how I'm alive. I was about to explode with rage while sitting in a theater trying to watch this movie. And I really hope I can forget about this movie soon. But I doubt that's going to happen anytime soon. Second to worst movie on the list. We have Peppermint. Why is this movie called Peppermint? I have no idea. There is not a single thing I liked about this movie. Just like our number 1 movie, worst of the year. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We're focusing on Peppermint. Okay, there's one thing I thought that was okay. That's the first couple of minutes. They're okay. Alright? You made something that was okay for a couple of minutes. What happened after that, I have absolutely no idea. But what I do know is that I hated this movie. The editing was horrible. It had this, flashy, I don't know what they were going for. I honestly have no idea what they were going for. The writing is obnoxious. The tone is all over the place. Our main hero just feels like an invincible character who gets injured every now and again, but plays out exactly how you think it's going to play out. Nothing in this movie makes any sense. And I'm glad that I can finally stop talking about this movie. Now, my number 1 least favorite movie of the year. And it's one of the first movies I saw this year. If not the first, it's one of the first. That is Forever My Girl. Beginning to end, I hated it. I hate this movie. I looked around for possibly an okay thing. I can't find one. The acting is horrible. The writing is even worse. It's less than a generic movie. It's below generic. It's less than a safe movie. It's below cliche. It's below everything. It's honestly just as bad as Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. That's how much I hate this movie. I'm trying not to get angry here and yell at the camera and yell at you guys. which I think I'm trying at least to make something that's okay, and that's all I can do. I'm done talking about this movie. I do not want to even think of a shot that is in this movie. No. I'm done. I have survived these 10 movies. I feel like, I don't even know. I feel like a champion. There's probably worse movies that came out this year, but good news is I didn't have to see them. Because I didn't pick to see them. They didn't get my money, so it's a win-win. I'm going to take this hat off because my head is on fire right now. That was my least favorite movies of the year. If you enjoyed me going back into the movies that I did not enjoy seeing, comment down below what you thought about any of these movies, or if you think there are movies that are worse than these 10 films. If there are, I'm sorry you had to sit through them. I really am. But let me know what your list is down below. I would love to hear that. And my social media links will be in the description down below. Follow me there. And well, last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation. And I'll see you when I get my review for Replicas up soon. Ish. Because that movie was terrible. But until I get that up, thanks for watching and have a great day not watching any of these movies. Let's just leave them to die.